Hello there and Happy New Year. Welcome to my Bella Healing Hearts Book Talk segment. Today I would like to talk about a book that most recently came into my hands. Usually book talk is not always going to be about the most current published item out there, but it's going to be from a collection that I have gathered through the years of books that truly spoke to my heart or inspired or encouraged or motivated me to do something really powerful and good that I want to share with you. I don't know about you, but books speak and help at very important moments. And this book that I'm going to share with you, I feel is just a perfect little gem that is perfect to start our new year in 2017. Personally, I was coming to a place in my heart of being discouraged. There's been some dreams that have been sitting within my heart, and then I've slowly expanded throughout the years where I've taken steps of faith and acted upon them and have, done some action steps that support the vision. But it just seems to be that there's still a very large gap from who I am right now, from where I am in my life and current circumstances, to where this vision seems to be taking me, or what this vision says I'm going to do, or who I'm going to be. And the waiting on God, it can get hard. And I have come to a place where it gets very discouraging and depressing, if you're going to be honest. So I'm very thankful that I found this book because the words made a difference in my life. And I just want to thank the authors. You may know them. You may have heard of them. Chip and Joanna Gaines. They wrote a book called The Magnolia Story. And I actually happen to be a fan of theirs from their HGTV show, The Fixer Upper. It's a beautiful show, and it's actually one my husband watches with me too. We both enjoy it. So, and as a story person, a storyteller, and a story gatherer, I love learning about people's stories and love learning about their life lessons. So I'm very thankful that they wrote a book, because now I get to know them even more on a personal level. And I just want to thank you guys for doing this with Mark Dagostino. Thank you for having the courage to share even more about your personal lives with us, your viewers, and now readers. It made a difference. Your lives matter. We watch, and you give us hope. I'm in a second marriage. My husband and I will be blessed to have been married this May for 13 years. And some of the years were rough. I call them the acclimation years. And it's so cool to see another couple that love God, that love family, that have certain values, and they walk out those values every day in their life. It's really cool to see how you've done that and how you're doing it and how it made a difference in your life. So a few things. I wrote about the book. I have a website, bellahealinghearts.com, and I have a book talk page and a blog post. So I wrote several reactions to some of the words. There's a lot of life lessons in their story, and you will love reading their book. So I encourage you to check it out for yourself. But the very first thing it tickled me was reading about, and I do mark the pages, so I always want to know what spoke to me right when it happened, and I don't always have a pen. If I have a pen on nearby, I will underline and date the item as well. But I loved how Chip shares that he was happiest the most when he was around Joanna. And they both share how they each gave each other more energy. Well, that's a huge, huge truth factor, a principle for all you single folks out there. And I remember during my single mom years, that I kind of learned that lesson the hard way. People could tell where I was in my healing journey by who I was hanging out with or who I was wanting to be a girlfriend to. So it's true. A person that's in your life that God's going to bless you with should always make you better. The two of you should make each other better. And I'm so thankful and blessed that I waited as best as I could, because I wasn't always patient, for God's best for my life and for me and my daughter. And he brought Scott to us. And we're both not perfect individuals. No one is. We're human beings. But together, we make each other better. He helps me be a better woman and a better family person. He works to my weaknesses in a good way, and I work to his weaknesses. My strengths counter his weaknesses, and his strengths counter my weaknesses. And it's beautiful. So by them sharing this fact, that they have more energy together. And they also stated in their book that they never say, oh, we need a break from each other. That's not how, God envisioned a married couple. He envisioned the heaven on earth in a marriage. And that means you enjoy each other's company. And you do things together. And I'm very thankful in my own life, too, that my husband supports my dreams and efforts, and I support his. And we always, if we're interested in something, we go to it together. He actually learned to love opera when he first met me, and our courtship years, he took me to several operas. And I learned to appreciate football and hockey. So it's mutually blessing. So I loved how they stated that. And then I'm a romantic at heart. Maybe you are too. But you've got to read how he proposed to her. It's so romantic. It's so original. Great job, Chip. Some other things that stuck out. Let me find my pages here. There were many. It's not a big book, so it won't take you a long time to read. But it's perfect. Perfectly stated, their story. This spoke to my heart in a special way. It had to do with father-son issues in relationship. And so as a daughter, and I have a father, and what our hearts always yearn for in those relationships, and even in every other relationship we may have with our spouse or friends or other family members. He talks about how his dad had always supported him in his baseball dreams and goals, and he was rooting for him always, and he was at every game, and he was going down the path of becoming a professional baseball player. Well, when Chip realized that God seemed to be taking him down a different journey and his purpose was going down that different path, he was afraid to talk to his dad. He didn't want to let his dad down. But Chip says that it was like one of the most beautifulest conversations he ever had with his dad, that he learned that no matter what, his dad loved him no matter what he did or what he was. And it was just really a cool feeling for him. That just spoke volumes. How awesome, Chip, that you got that. What a blessing. That's priceless. And I know how it must have filled up your heart. Because what I'm sure there's none of us out there that just would not have loved that opportunity and appreciate those opportunities when they arise. For me, that moment when I realized I was loved no matter what, that love was real, it wasn't just this concept way out here, was when God rescued me. When I realized my first marriage was about over, I was devastated and I was scared. I just called out to God, and just from that moment on, he just rescued me and he took me up. I didn't know love was unconditional like that. I was afraid if I wasn't a good enough girl, that if I didn't follow all the rules or obey the commandments or was a good Christian, that I thought God would just stop loving me. He was so doing miracles in my life at that time. I don't know. I would not have made it without his interactions in my life. I really thought that when I messed things up, and I did, as we all will do, we're human beings, I thought he was going to just ditch me. And I thought his favor in my life was over. I thought I didn't know how I was going to do life. But guess what? He didn't leave me. He actually loved me through my worst, loved me through my failures, and loved me as I was healing and growing and developing. And to this very day, the scripture's real, where it says he will not abandon us. His love is more huge. It's huger than we can even imagine. So I loved how Chip had that interaction, that knowing with his dad. How special is that? That was just awesome. And that makes, that's a profound food for thought for me. How am I in my relationships with those around me? Are my words, are my reactions, is my attitude one that gives that person this truth, that they are loved by me no matter what? Or do they feel like I did at times to be performance-based, that if I don't get the straight A's, or if I don't please a person, if I say no, that they will reject me or not love me anymore? Well, the real people, the quality people that you want in your life are those that won't do those things. But how are we? So thank you for that profound thought. Another thing that really struck out to me that was how God had really hooked them up into a home at a time where they needed this place, a home that inspired them. And here she is, Joanna, just, wherever she looks out her windows, it's beyond her imagination, this home. And wherever she's looking, she's inspired because everything is a work of art. All the homes around her and all the details and the architecture. And that just helped her to imagine even more in her own dreams and what work she was currently doing and what she would come to do. And it just really fed to that. And God does that for us. And this reminded me of a time in my own life when I first tasted a little moment of heaven on earth. Was during my single mom years. I was invited to the Palm Beach Jewelry Art and Antique Show, I believe it's called. That was the first time ever I was truly surrounded by such works of art, beauty. I just felt the elegance, the love, and the craftsmanship by the paintings and the jewelry and the sculptures and the history. So my heart is similar to yours, Chip and Joanna, where we appreciate old houses and historic properties for reasons, because there is a story told. The old pieces, and she talks about this in her book too, where in an old house, things were built and created by craftsmen, people who were the best of the best in whatever they did. Marble work, the woodwork, the ceilings and the moldings. I love that and appreciate that. That's, one of my dreams too, is to have a house on the ocean in a historic home in a historic community where it has just a beautiful story to it. I admire that and I respect that. So that's another reason why I love what they do in the Fixer Upper show, is they take these properties and they renovate them. They restore what they were, the real beauty of the property. And I love that. And they match it to who the people are that are buying the house or living in the space that will soon live there. Some other things too that I just wanted to share with you. Again, I wrote more about it in great depth. So it's a few pages. So when you have time, if you'd like to read about some different things in their book that really spoke to me, that may bless you as well, check it out at my website. Let's see. Oh, a big thing that they talk about. It's important. Life's going to throw you stuff, but don't give up. There were several things where they had opportunity to crumble and to lose it, and they didn't. And that's important because, right around the corner was their blessing, was their dream come true, or their purpose, their full purpose in life. And if they had just given up at that time, they would have missed the blessing. We've heard of that in other ways. It's darkest before the dawn. Don't give up, because that right when you're ready to give up is where your dream is, where your miracle is. So I was encouraged by that because, as I mentioned, I'm in a waiting period of my life, a waiting season on God, for God to bridge the gap of what's in my heart to what my current reality says and shows. So this really encouraged me. And let's see, some of the other things I remember they talked about was surviving or thriving. And this is cool because, I'm reminded of this because I had read this in different books, but this was a true thing they lived out in their own life. Joanna had an aha moment, several, but one of the ones she talks about was, she was just in survival mode, and God had showed her, you're focusing on all of the wrong details. She was trying to have her home be perfect, and this is a parenting principle and or relationship principle too, because this applies to us married folk and how we see our mates, and parents, how we see our children and how we're trying to do our house. And she was focusing on having things be perfect, and she was missing out on a lot of things. So she had a decision to make, and her decision made all the difference, is what she says. And so she decided to focus more on the relationship of each of her children. And, she was hearing them laugh, and it just pierced her heart that time. And that's where she had the aha moment. And that led into another aha moment where it was a crucial moment, I think, I gather from having read this book. This was a crucial aha moment that if she did not make these choice, it would have affected her marriage, and it would have affected what God wanted to do in Chip and Joanna's life. And not only choose in the moment to be in not survival mode, but you make a mental decision that you're going to be in a thriving mode, a thriving attitude. Because she made a good point. If you're just in survival mode, life's going to continue to throw stuff at us. And eventually, there's going to be something that takes us down for good. So, but if you're in that thriving mode, it's not going to take you down. You'll get through it. You'll overcome. You'll get to the other side. And you'll be better than you were. God added on to that. He used her new attitude to be that encourager to her husband. Chip was usually and they both are, but he was always known for being the positive, the optimistic one, and the go-getter, but positive, that it's all going to work out. Well, he hit a time, as every person will. We're not all going to be up high and riding it high and being so positive. We're going to have our doubts, our seasons of challenge and struggle. And he was at a bottom. He was at a low place. And the timing of Joanna's insight, or aha, was awesome. It was crucial. It saved them. She was now able to tell Chip it's going to be okay. We're going to make this. We're going to survive it. We're going to thrive through this. And it was awesome, because that's what, right around their corner, they had their miracle. The other thing was, so it was a mental shift, she said, and it's a decision. And you just make that decision and everything changes instantly. Not your circumstances, but your inner thinking, which affects circumstances. So I love that. Yeah, and then she even said, she had to choose to thrive even in the pain. We can all attest to situations in our life that, it could make us or break us. And it is our choice. I know, a lot of people that I have ministered to who have been through a divorce. Divorce is one of those circumstances, a loss, a huge loss that has, it can make you or break you. And you decide if you want to be better or bitter. It's a decision. It's hard to walk through, but it's still a decision regardless. There's so many other things in this book, you guys. You have to just check it out. It's a great read. Magnolia Story. I'm just going to skip. There's so many other things, but for time's sake, I don't want to keep you forever. I could talk on and on. This could be a whole presentation, and I would love to share it, because as you know, I love to inspire, encourage, and motivate others, because I love being inspired, encouraged, and motivated by others. I am who I am because people have taken the time to love on me and to help and encourage, and when I was down, to pray for me. Well, now I want to give it back. And that doesn't mean I'll never need it again. I actually, as I mentioned, I did. I was getting discouraged in my waiting period. And I want to share with you. I'm passing this on. I received hope from their words and their story. May you receive it too. It's going to be okay. If God put something in our hearts, He created us. He's the potter, we're the clay. He will carry it out. He will work it out. We just need to do every little step that He directs our feet on. If He puts something in our heart to do that day, do it with all your might. Don't give up. And I'm not either. I'm not going to give up. I believe that what's in my heart will be reality. And it's in His time and in His way. So, but the last thing they said on their last page was that they have learned in their life together. They said that, go and find what it is that inspires you. Go and find what it is that you love, and go and do that until it hurts. That spoke to me, because it does hurt sometimes. It hurts to keep going for what you are dreaming in and believing in. even when the outer circumstances are not conducive to where your dream's taking you. Do it anyways. Keep at it. And they said, don't quit. Don't give up. The reward is just around the corner. And in times of doubt or times of joy, listen for that still small voice. Know that God has been there from the beginning and he will be there until. And they write the end of their story and until the end. So thank you, Chip and Joanna Gaines, for a lovely story. May God continue to bless you and your family tremendously. Y'all, be encouraged. Feed those fires where those dreams reside. Keep feeding them and keep doing what you feel God's calling you to do and be. Because you matter and we all have a purpose here. So your gift matters. Because without you, we're going to be missing it. Be blessed this 2017. Take care now.